Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome back to Unscripted. I'm your host, Matt Perry, aka Cut Corners. It's great to be here. Shout out to everyone who's tuned in right now. We got DJ Quartz, we got NJ2AK, we got Hope 1200, we got Viswar, John Robinson Music. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and thanks to everyone who tunes in and listens on whatever app you choose to use for podcasts, whether it's podcasts, whatever. We're on them all. We're on YouTube too. But great to be here. Great to be back. I'm in Canada now. And today on Unscripted, we have an absolute legend joining us. 2 times DMC US Champion. Multiple titles under the belt. A lovely person. Incredible DJ. Bronx's very own DJ Pearly. Please welcome DJ Pearly to the show. Let's go. What up, DJ Pearly?
Thank you. Oh, individual. Thank you.
Great to see you.
What's up, Matt?
Thank you so much for being our guest.
Oh, no, thank you for having me be a part of this amazing series. It's an absolute honor. Oops, watch my microphone back today. I'm good though.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we have to have you on here. One of the world's best DJs, and fresh off a win, 2022 DMC US Champion. How does it feel? 2 times now, Pearly?
I don't even know. You know what? There's no words to really express the amount of gratitude I have for not only having the opportunity to be a part of the battle, but to be able to express and just create some dope routines for everyone to enjoy. So it just feels more than grateful, more than thankful than anything else in the world. So I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to be here and just to be part of the whole music scene. So.
That's awesome, man. We're so grateful that you are here too, and congratulations. It's such a huge accomplishment, and it's so awesome. And it's so awesome that you did it all using Serato. So let's go team. But
Serato gang for life.
How did you find the World Finals this year, though? You just came back, right?
Yes. So actually, the World Finals are virtual.
That's right.
So that's pretty cool. I really do miss traveling. I miss, the best part about battling is not just being on stage. It's just meeting people and just connecting and hearing that people enjoy what you do. And to me, that's like the best type of compliment I could get from either a battle or just doing a DJ mix at an event or stuff like that. So it's just, the best part is just connecting with people and sharing the same love that we all have for music, and just like continue to stay inspired to just do dope-ish. I'm censoring myself. I learned my lesson.
Thank you. I mean, we have most guests on here will be a little bit free and easy with the swear words, so feel free if
Well, let's go for it.
Yeah, warning to anyone who's tuned in if you're offended by swear words. Occasionally they do pop up, so please mind your ears. But
we don't have the censor. Sorry.
These are unedited, raw and uncut.
Pure raw. It's unscripted.
Exactly. There you go.
All right, that's it. Good night, everybody.
But yeah, we are live. So if you do have questions and you're in the chat and you do want us to answer, ask Pearly any questions, we're happy to do that towards the end. And I will favorite them throughout. Now, in your 2017 routine, you set it off with Missy Elliott, Sock It To Me, the K-Tronado remix. I just want to say thank you so much. That routine is one of my favorite routines of yours, and the track selection through that routine was just like 10 out of 10. Used Bad, Not Good. So many great songs. Missy is personally one of my favorite all-time artists. So I wanted to, and you too?
Yes, I think. Well, you know what it is, because I'm the generation that grew up with MTV when MTV had music videos before the whole reality craziness happened. And the most exciting thing about catching a Missy Elliott video was actually catching it the whole thing, because it was just so artful and entertaining and so full of surprises. And she had like little innuendos of like paying homage to classic hip hop and such. So that was just like, no way she did that. Oh, she's got the classic boom ups. Oh, she's got the dookie chain or the the big hoop earrings. So it was just like, Missy got it.
That's so true, actually. And I always loved that she always put it on for the DJs. Like, DJs always used her, DJs have always used Missy songs for routines, some classic ones, but also, and yours included, of course. But she, like you said, like a lot of her songs always celebrated the DJ. Is there any favorite Missy songs? Obviously, Sock It To Me, but are there other songs that really stand out to you?
Oh my god, I love Get Your Freak On. That's a classic. I think everyone loves that. And I can't because all of her discography is just amazing. It's just so good. It's like every video is different, and then every video has a different story to tell, and it's so many different things to celebrate within what she's performing and creating and sharing with the world. It's just so she's a genius. Put it this way, Missy's a genius.
Yeah, I totally agree. In fact, have you seen the Lifetime documentary with Aaliyah by any chance?
No, please tell me it's still on somewhere.
I saw it on
I
Hulu.
love Aaliyah. Oh,
I
okay, good.
highly recommend it. That's a free plug for Hulu there, but highly recommend seeing it. There's one part in that documentary where they talk about Aaliyah making her second record and the label not wanting to work with Missy Elliott and Timbaland. They were unsure about the chemistry and the success, but Aaliyah really pushed through. And I found that a really interesting story because I guess traditionally, I think people don't know that much about Aaliyah and how much of an artist she was, but also how confident she was in choosing Missy and Timbaland for that sound, because their sound was definitely quite futuristic, right, at the time?
Yes, definitely. I feel like those small group of geniuses, as I like to call them, were really paving the way before anyone knew that it was going to be a new transformative sound in music. Because Timbo, I mean, he's crazy. He's absolutely. I mean, I don't know. It's like him, Pharrell, and like a lot of the other producers from that era were really groundbreaking and kind of sort of led an example and paved the way for what we're listening to now, in a way. So, I
Absolutely.
mean, people can agree or disagree, but Timbo is definitely like that producer that everyone's looking up to and be like, whoa, what would Timbo do in this beat in this moment and such? And when I first heard like the what was it? Oh jeez. Well, it was an Aaliyah song with Timbo. It just completely blew my mind, and I was like a fan instantly. And then unfortunately, it was the same time where she passed away, and I was just like so heartbroken because I was just starting to get to know her music and who she was as an artist. And then within a blink of an eye, unfortunately, she left this world, this dimension, however you want to call it. And it just makes me think like, geez, what would she be doing now if she was still alive? Like what kind of music, what kind of artists she would become into, or the artists that she would be collaborating with, so to say.
Yeah, absolutely gone too soon.
Hmm.
Now, the something that you just talked about Timbaland with his beats. Now, what is it specifically like? Do you think it is that makes it kind of appeal to DJs in a way? What kind of catches your ear, and how do you choose your songs to use in a routine?
Ooh, Timbo, to me, I feel like it's the drums that he uses. And I remember how, I don't know if this video is still up, but when I started learning about DJing, I came across this video of Timbo like doing a beatbox thing, and he was incorporated into his music. And then I started listening back to Aaliyah with Are You Gonna Be Somebody? And I
Mm.
heard him like doing that little beatbox thing, and I was like, wait, this is kind of like him paying homage to Slick Rick, who was doing like the human beatbox thing, and the Fat Boys and all the other great beatboxers. And it was kind of like all coming together how he was inspired. I don't know, who's his true influence, but maybe the music that he was listening to kind of sort of like gravitated towards into his music, and just like he made it his own. And that's what I love about Timbo. He's always coming up with something new that I never expected to like pop out of you like that. And to me, it kind of inspires me to do the same way, in which for routines or mixes or whatever I'm making in the moment, is come up with like a foundation of like being inspired of what I was listening to before I got into creating a routine or a mix. So like if I was listening to, I don't know, let's say a shameless plug, A Track doing like the him and Amron Van Helden doing a duck sauce thing.
Yep.
I'll be like, okay, so they're really upbeat, fun, exciting. So how can I incorporate that fun energy into my mixes or whatever it is? And I just like zone out, go into like this meditative state and just create and just let it go.
Wow.
Hmm.
But does the music kind of speak to you in that way that says, okay, now you should manipulate it in a certain way, and that's how you kind of get your routines together?
Yeah, so I just find things in a song that like attracts my ear.
Mm.
So if I hear like a shaker, I'm like, oh, that shaker is pretty interesting. I make like a mental note or I write it down somewhere. I'm like, this shaker is dope. And I just keep going on and on about it. And then when I feel like I have something like of a foundation of like it could be useful in a way, I just like pick and choose what works and what doesn't work, and then it just builds up from there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now
that's
I'd
the
really.
sauce. No.
Oh shoot! Thank you for sharing the sauce.
Just kidding. That's not the sauce.
We're gonna have a lot of sauce talk today. That's for sure.
Sauce, man. It's sauce.
Oh, I could. Yeah, I'm definitely down with the sauce. That's how we say it. Actually, I was born in New Zealand, and we say sauce. So it's very
No way.
very
I
much
never
on.
knew that.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to the New Zealand
Cool.
collective in the chat, talking sauce.
It's gonna
Now,
get saucy up in here. Mm.
if you don't mind, could I'd like to play your DMC World Championship set from 2017 since we've been talking
Yes.
about it, and I'd really like everyone else to see it in case you have not seen it. So let's just go over there and check that out. It's one of my favorite routines. It's super awesome.
Oh.
Yo, it's so sick.
Thank you.
You know what I gotta say though? I just love the track selection. You know, like I think one of my personal favorite things about watching DJ routines is like, yeah, the songs that they use, and you've got it all. It's all there. You know, great tracks, great execution, innovative things. How do you get to a point when you're creating your routine where you know it's done?
I have no idea, to be honest, because I feel like you could just keep pushing yourself to create more and more, but then you don't want to lose yourself and create like a 10-minute routine that's like, oh, I should have ended 5 minutes ago, you know?
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was having a chat with you mentioned the other day A-Track, and I was talking to him
Well,
about.
look at that. Small world.
I was
I
talking
was
to him.
picking up the energy, man. I'm psychic now.
But yeah, I was talking to him like, you know, as a battle DJ, you know, there's a certain self pressure, like a pressure that you put on yourself, right, to kind of keep going. And I wanted to know, like, yeah, how do you balance that when you've got to obviously do a performance, which not only do you have to do something that's extremely technical, but you've also got to consider that it's a performance as well. Like, how do you balance those things personally?
I think it's just, I don't want to sound too cocky, but that's just me. That's naturally how I am. But when I was a kid, I was like superly painfully shy, and I was like a turtle in my shell. I just couldn't like come out of that shell, only for like a certain, group of people. But I guess, as time went on growing up, I just grew out of it and just embraced my goofy side. But at the same time, still serious, and I will mean mug because, I'm from the Bronx. That's how we do. But anyway, but to me, when I'm watching a performance with, not just DJing or, performances in general, I like to be entertained. I like to feel like I'm included in whatever it is that's going on stage. Like I want to feel like I'm a part of it in some way, even if they just, doing something and they look up for 5 seconds and it's like, oh, okay, cool. You're actually seeing me. Cool. You're actually making everybody in the room feel like a part of it. So I think that's like something that I always want to do is make sure that the people are enjoying it. Number one, being with, with the creative side of the routine, but also that I'm aware that you're watching me, watching you, watching me, that type of inception thing. So, yeah.
I love that. I think that's so important, and I've talked to a lot of people about this recently too, because you're doing all of this performance, and the way you're using vocals and words is storytelling, and it is engaging, and it's all put together in such a way. But it's not. You're not using a microphone, right? You can't really be like, "What's up, everybody? I'm here. I'm
God,
DJ
no.
Pearly."
I do not have a radio voice. No.
But it's so amazing how you're able to kind of do that storytelling and do all that engagement just using, the medium of turntables and a mixer and software, which is incredible.
Exactly. I feel like the music is speaking for me. It's like, I don't want to sound too like, oh, hippy dippy, but to me, the music is just an extension of my soul, of what I want to express and what I want to share in that moment with people. Because I feel like that's what it is. It's an expression of what we feel in that moment and what we want to share our messages across without words, Like we have so many great artists who are putting out so many great pieces of music that express emotions, feeling, thoughts, ideas, etc., that we have a hard time put together ourselves. And we just pick a song like, here, this is how I feel about you, or here, this is what I feel about this moment in time in life, or this historical moment that's happening. This is a perfect song about liberation or whatever. So it's definitely an extension of how we feel and what we want to express in that short amount of time, for sure.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. I feel like that connection to music is really translates through the choices of music you make as well. And
Yes.
it's really cool too, like the way you used Nick Bike's remix as well. Like, you've taken a song like that, like, it's kind of a rare version. Like you're digging through the crates, you know what I mean? You're digging and finding things that are maybe not familiar
Yes.
to everybody too, and kind of introducing it that way, which is, I mean, that's got to be one of the biggest compliments. I don't know if you've talked to Nick about that, but
He's a quiet guy, to be
yeah,
to
he
be
is.
honest. He's a man of few words. But I think he likes the routine. I remember tagging him in a video I posted. He was like, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
It's good enough. If you that I'm cool with it. I'm not expecting like this grand gesture of like, oh, this is phenomenal. I love it. Oh, this is lovely. No, like if you just, I'm cool with it.
That's got to be the
Little
biggest
pat on the
compliment.
back. It's cool.
But to use someone's song like that, it's got to be a huge compliment for Nick as well. But how many times? I'm curious to know, like, how many times did you compete in DMC or battles in general until you won like your first title?
Ooh. So I started battling in 2015. So my first DMC battle was the New York City Regional in 2015. And I didn't win, which was fine because that was my first time ever. And to me, that was the best learning experience of what's it like to, number one, practice like a mad lady, you know, get to the venue, get all the battle jitters out, and then get on stage and everything's like this quick, quick, quick. There's no time to waste. And, you feel a different type of pressure on that stage for sure. I felt it. It felt like King Kong and an elephant were like hugging me. That's how much the pressure was, I felt. And I was like, okay, I need to feel this and understand how to channel this energy into my performance without letting the best of me get the best of me. So I didn't make it through, which was fine because I needed that learning moment. And it taught me to practice, to be better at practicing, to be better at stage performance, to be better, just to be better as an artist in general. And the next battle I competed in was later that year in December, which was called Freestyle Mondays. And a friend was like, hey, there's a battle I'm gonna do. Bruno, I'm asking if anybody wants to join. You can totally enter. It's no big deal. It's not like a battle, DMC style. It's just for fun. Have fun with it. And I was like, okay, cool. I need the practice. So I entered that. It was called Freestyle Mondays. It was like I'm serious, the most random battle I've ever entered. It was a DJ and MC battle. Shout out to Ill Spoken for doing and creating that battle. It was just so much fun. And basically, it was like Wheel of Fortune, but a wheel of randomness. So you get there to the venue. It's very true. You get there to the venue and you check in with Ill Spoken. He's like, okay, here's this flash drive. This is the music that you will need for the battle. And I'm like, what do you mean? And my friend was like, oh, you get a flash drive where you get random music, and whatever the category the wheel stops on, you have to use that song for that category and create a routine out of it in that moment. I'm like, what? I wasn't prepared for that.
That's
And
crazy.
once you get past that round, then you can do your regular 2 minute routine. So the really cool part was you spin a wheel. Well, he spun a wheel. Ill Spoken, the host, and it lands on either a random beat juggle, a scratch, or a mashup. And he had two different songs to mash up with. No, a couple songs to mash up with, and you had to find a song in your library to mash up with that song. So I ended up falling under the category of mashup, which I was hoping to get the scratch category, but no. But I had a mashup. I Dream of Jeannie theme song with a song in my crate, and I was like, oh boy,
Oh
this
wow.
is not going to end well. And then, the crowd picks who's the winner, and somehow I was selected to go to the final round. I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy. This can't be happening. What? And then it was just me and my other friend who invited me. He was in the finals too. He had to do a beat juggle, and you wasn't allowed to use Q points whatsoever. So he snagged the winning round in that, and we went head to head, and we did our 2 minute finals, and yeah, and then I won.
Wow. That's got to be the
Yeah.
most stressful battle I've ever heard
So
about.
it was so stressful. And then like you win a belt, but you had to share it with the MC, the winner of the MC battle after. So I was like, yeah, oh, I have to get this back. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, then from there I won 2 more times, and I was like 3-time champ before going back into the DMC world. So I was like, hold up, DMC first.
Yeah, I mean they've definitely they've perfected the battle, like that. I mean they're kind of the blueprint, right? When you think about it.
Yeah, it was stressful.
You know what's interesting too, like hearing you talk about all of the kind of the jitters and things like that, and channeling that energy. And I interviewed Prince Paul pretty recently, and he talked about how he went up to battle back in the day before he was really focused on being a producer. And he talked a lot about how he kind of lost because he had to perform on a different setup. And I was going to ask you, you know, how does that factor in when you're performing? You know, because you'll be practicing at home a lot, and then you go to on the big stage. Not only are there hundreds of people there, but it's also on different equipment, right?
That is very stressful within itself, because you're so used to being at home with your personal setup, because you know it inside out better than anybody else. So, I mean, oh God, just thinking about it is making me stressed out. Because you're so used, let's say you're so used to using a Pioneer mixer, and then all of a sudden you go to the venue, now it's a reloop mixer. It's like, what do? You know? It's like, do you have the drivers for it? Do you have all the extra cords and cables that you need? And where's your Serato records? Where's this? Where's that? Like, how do you turn it on? What does this button do? You know? So it's good to know what equipment is being used if you can find out beforehand, so you have a better idea and understanding before, you know, feeling like you're going to mess up at any given second. So it's very important to know not just the equipment that you're comfortable with, but with other equipment as well. So to me, it's like we're always students. We're always learning new things. So.
Absolutely. Well, what is your preferred setup, Pearly? Like, what's your ideal scenario?
This segment of Unscripted was sponsored by Range.
Let's go.
All right, Matt, show the little advert thing you got there.
I don't have one, honestly.
Click. No. That was my time to drink some water, Matt. Come on.
I got some sound effects. We can do. We got the glockenspiel. This episode is sponsored by Rain.
Perfect. Oh my God. Oh man. But yeah, I like to use. I started out using Rain mixers when I got into DJing. So my first pair of turntables was actually my dad's that my mom bought. It was Gemini TTO 7 something.
Oh wow!
And that was. I'm not saying anything. It was just no.
Belt drive.
This wasn't belt drive, and the mixer wasn't Rain, but it was the Gemini mixer that came with it. So it was like, not the best in the world. Over time, the fader got really staticky, and there was nothing I could do about it. You know, WD-40 didn't work. Inverting the fader didn't work. Nothing worked. So I had to save up to get my first mixer, and I was planning to get the 57, Rain 57, but that was being discontinued. Rumor.
I remember that.
And then they came out with the 62, and I was like, ooh, what is this? So I ended up saving up and getting the 62, and I absolutely fell in love with the faders and how, not easy, but how amazing I could transfer my ideas within like a couple switches of whatever and such. So Rain's always been like my go-to for mixers, and Technic turntables have always been my favorite.
Absolutely, yeah. Technics, you know, it's crazy to think about like Technics SL1200s. That was what I bought my first pair. I don't know about you, but I bought my first pair in 1999, and I still have them.
Nice.
How about you?
I bought my first pair of Techniques at a local record shop after I started working, interning for a mobile DJ company. So every time I would get paid, I would like save up my money to like, this is for turntables someday, this is for records and such. So when the day came where the local record shop had turntables, it was just sitting there. When I walked in to buy records, it was just sitting on the counter, and the guy was like, oh, hey, we just got this turntable. I was like, how much? Give me. And I bought like, my plan was to get a lot of records, but my ideal plan of records went from this much to like none.
Yeah.
And I walked out happily with a record and a turntable. I was like, yes, my day's complete.
That's amazing. That's crazy when you think about like that's like a piece of equipment that lasts you for decades. You know, it's just not common. It's almost like a bad business model, right? Like if you're gonna start a company, don't make something that lasts 20 years.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, totally. Now we were talking about this before, but I wanted to know, would you recommend entering a battle for all DJs?
Okay. So the question is, are they willing to sacrifice their sleep schedule?
Yeah.
Are you willing to sacrifice that and your social life? Just are you?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it's all about people's. I don't know. It all depends on what people want to do. Like, are they really able to handle the pressure, the stress, the countless hours of practicing day and night? You know, every day basically for many hours to make sure that the routine that they do on stage is perfect. You know, you have to build this muscle memory type of form of memory to make sure that when you get on that stage, do you know how to perform under pressure? Do you remember your routines when you blank out because of, emotions or whatever? Do you know how to recover from a mistake and make it seem like, oh, just kidding, it's part of routine. Oh my God, what am I going to do? You got to have it's not just about practicing what you're doing with music, but practicing controlling yourself, keeping your composure. How well can you handle stress in that moment of time? And can you block out all the haters and the negative Nancy's or trying to like persuade you from not entering a battle and such? That's what you really need to understand. There's a lot more than just performing on stage. Yeah, I won a prize, and then off to the finals. It's more about how well can you handle yourself, and the other factors around it too.
Yeah, that's got to take a certain type of person, right? Because I never really thought of it like that, but it's very easy to get in your head about things like that. I mean, it's hard enough just if you're a beat maker to put a song online, but to stand on stage, perform, and have any kind of self-doubt must be just amplified 100,000 times.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, I feel like social media kind of makes it worse in a way, because now there's more people of expressing their negative opinions about something that you love to do. Wow. So like if I post something, or if anyone posts something and they're like using like the cue pads, and someone out of nowhere goes, "Oh, you're pressing too many buttons." Well, first of all, I know that, and second of all, it was made for us to do that. So what do you want to do? So it's like, hey, I'm just expressing what I want to do. I'm creating. I'm elevating the idea I had to, infinity and beyond. And these companies are making things not easy, but helpful enough for us to help express our ideas faster and quicker than back in the day, where it was just a standard 2-channel mixer and you had to like figure something out with the feedback or something. So,
Yeah, totally. It's really nice to hear that. I think because I know there's been obviously a lot of polarizing opinions about things like buttons and cue pads, shoot, sync. Even just Serato.
Yeah. Oh my God, sync! I remember that when that was a big topic. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean it still is. I feel like a lot of these are very polarizing things for people. In fact, I've been really enjoying, since we're in the season, we're talking the Halloween season. I've been really enjoying the posts that people have been making about old hater DJ. Have you seen that?
The Halloween costume.
Yeah, the Halloween costume.
I've known many DJs who are exactly like that.
Yeah, I mean we all know somebody.
They don't need a costume.
Yeah,
They don't need a costume. Just show up.
Yeah,
we know who you are.
But yeah, I mean, Gon's actually made a really good point right here. People use cell phones now. Won't go back to a pager. With technology evolves, we evolve. It still needs to sound dope, regardless. I think that's really a really good point. And I mean, beyond that, it's still like all those things that you just said. You still have to stand up on stage and do something that represents you and your personality, and you can be judged for that. And I mean, Pearly, I don't mean to state the obvious, but I imagine that's even more so as a woman in such a male-dominated industry too. Would that be fair?
Oh my God, yeah. My journey in this DJ world has never been easy. When I started out just wanting to be a DJ as a kid, a lot of people doubted me, because at the time in the mid to late 2000s, it wasn't a career that was seen successful, like a traditional career role, like a doctor, lawyer, chef, whatever. And I originally wanted to be a veterinarian, but seeing how, I didn't want to tell people that their pet was sick, and that broke my heart. And I'm an animal lover. I just can't. I'm a softie when it comes to animals. But, I just couldn't see myself doing that, and it kind of made me sad and a little depressed knowing that I have to see these sick animals. Of course, that's the goal of being a veterinarian, is to treat them.
Yeah.
But it just broke my heart, and I knew that I had something with music, but I couldn't figure it out what exactly. So when I started getting into DJing, I discovered it through Mark Ronson by accident from a Lily Allen record.
Oh wow.
And yeah, Lily Allen, All Right Still album.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I think it's the last track, the Smile remix.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool, man. I love that. That's a dope record.
Yeah. So that was like my absolute favorite record, and I was like, "Who is Mark Ronson?" And I, researched him, and I saw, oh, he's a DJ producer, all these cool things, and I from there I followed him, AM, rest in peace, A-Track, Hubert, and Aaron LeCrate, and I was like, man, I could probably do something cool with this. I could see, like, you're an entrepreneur, you could do production, own a record label, do so many great things with music, basically, and I was like, you know what, this actually makes me think about a reconsideration. So when I started telling people, hey, I'm a DJ, once I started getting into it, I started teaching myself, a lot of people were like kind of sort of putting me down and saying, no, you can't, nah, I don't think so, nah, it's not for girls. And I was like, yes it is. Like, well, excuse me, Salt and Pepper, hello,
Yeah, Spinderella, yeah,
Coco Chanel,
yeah.
And they're like, who's that? I'm like, whatever. So as time went on, I just like ignored all of it, even though it really like kind of like brought me down, because in high school it was like the time to go to college. It was like, okay, what do you want to study? And I was like, music. And they're like, can you read music theory notes and all that? I'm like, no, but I can learn. And they're like, well, there's nothing here for you for DJing. And I was like, seriously? So it was like my fight for my goals and my dreams my whole life. And as the EDM world was starting to become popular and everyone wanted to be the DJ, per
Yep.
se, then everybody started changing their minds. Like, oh, yeah, there could be a career path in that. And I was like, you guys are like 2000 late. I'm so already on that path. So yeah. So when I started getting into the battle world, a lot of guys would give me dirty looks because they saw this tiny little thing go to these battles, look at me up and down, and be like, yeah, she don't got it. Like, what's she doing here? She don't belong here, type of thing. And then there I go on stage killing everybody with my skills and talent. They're like, oh, yo, that was dope. And I was like, 10 minutes ago, you were giving me a stanky look. So it's always something that I have to, like, go through and witness. But at this point, I'm just like, it's standard now. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you've developed like skills just to kind of have developed skills that equip you with the ability to kind of like silence that kind of energy or those kind of that noise in your head before you take to the stage?
Yeah, they could just look at me and be like, oh, yeah, she's good. But yeah, so like before I go on stage, I always try to find some time to just meditate and just clear my mind and just calm myself, because, you have to somehow find your own way to eliminate all the crazy noise. Because, when you go to the event, there's going to be a lot of people saying, hey, what's up? I love you, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, you're going to meet, like, the people who are like, yo, this guy's in the battle. Are you nervous? And I'm like, no, they should be nervous. Hello, type of thing. So I just go somewhere and just, like, meditate, calm myself down, and just relax and just center myself and be like, girl, you got this. Beat some ass and don't look back. So.
Now, you talked a bit about technology there, and I'd like to kind of like continue on that page. Like you've obviously won twice. Do you plan on continuing to battle? Next year and onwards?
I can't share all my secrets and thoughts, Matt.
Okay.
Stay tuned. That's what I gotta say. Stay tuned.
Okay, but how do you think DJ battles will evolve? With technology and just in overall.
It's a really good question, because I feel like that question has been asked back in the day of like how DJ battles will evolve with the classic vinyl and 2-channel mixers and such. I mean, the perfect example is seeing the Scratch Perverts from the DMC battles, of how they used the feedback in other parts of I think it was Vestax mixers.
Yeah. That
really like transformed the way how a mixer can be used for a battle or creativity. So it's definitely evolving in ways that when we have new equipment we are able to, of course, be curious about what can it do, what can't it do. And we could just basically continue to create and have happy little accidents in ways of like, oh, I made a mistake, and like, oh, that was dope, let me do that again. So I think it's going to continue to help us evolve in creativity, and also help us evolve in ways of not worrying about if the equipment's going to fail in the middle of our sets. You know, whether not just battling, but also performing at mixes, at events, weddings, etc. Because there was a moment when I was working at a wedding, being an assistant during my internship at a company, and our equipment just like flat out died for like 5 seconds, and it's like, what do you do? You know, it's a high pressure situation. What do you do? You know, and I feel like the technology now that's coming out is going to help us have less issues during our performances, and it's going to help us have everything run smoothly and continue to help us grow as artists. There's nothing wrong. Of course, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the classic old school method of 2 turntables, records, vinyl, you know, 2-channel mixer. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I would rather encourage seeing people start out that way to have a better appreciation and understanding of what is DJing, you know? Because I feel like... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that's a really good point. You know, I was having a bit of a conversation with a friend the other day about this, and, you know, we were just talking about how the convenience of technology has kind of spoiled us a little bit, but it's always nice, especially if you still have records, like, you know, I do, and clearly you do too, to, you know, like, to just pick them up or do a set on vinyl or whatever and realize, like, what that's like as well, and the nuance and the difference of those things, the experience, but also to appreciate what we have now, you know, and the ability and the freedom and the flexibility that we have. And you also have a record, like you put out a record a couple years ago, Turnstile Breaks, right?
I just so happen to have it here.
Hey, product placement. Now, this segment,
the plug.
This segment is sponsored
This
by...
segment was sponsored by Turnstile Breaks.
That's so cool. Tell me the concept behind Turnstile Breaks.
It's dope. Buy it. No. This interview is going completely sideways. We're here to talk about battling, and now we're just goofing off. So the whole concept, I don't know if people can see this. Let me just back up a bit. No? Okay. Little dyslexic moment. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So the whole concept about this album, well, Battle Scratch record, was that I always wanted to create something. Girl, get yourself corrected. Oh my God. Girl, you know, I'm just going to look at me. Just look at me. That's it. So the whole concept was just me. I always wanted to make a vinyl record. I always wanted to press my own record, but it just wasn't the right time and place to do it because of battling, and I just needed to just, you know, do my own research about how the whole process is like and such. But I just wanted to pay homage to my roots, you know? Like, I already have a token ring.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
You know, tell me you're from New York without saying you're from New York, you know? How New Yorican are you? Like, míralo, hello. And, you know, I grew up with the token. I'm, you know, giving my age date or whatever. Here we are. But, yeah, I grew up with the token, as every girl. Just, oh, my God, just get right. There we go. You know, I just grew up using the subway token and then transferring over, pun intended, to the Metro Pass. And the token has always been my favorite thing. So I decided to just do, like, all battle samples, New York City themed. And I was so grateful to have... I got it. I'm getting used to it. There we go. Girl, just go down. There we go. So I actually shot this photo.
Oh, cool.
So these are actually my photos because I'm also a photographer.
Oh,
and
wow.
My friend, the more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know. So, you know, I just wanted to pay homage, and I was super thankful and grateful to have my friend Griffin One out in Cali to do all the graphics and the layouts and such. And then my friend Essence Memories did the video with me, and that was super awesome. And the crazy part, we shot the video like a month before lockdown for COVID.
Oh,
so
wow.
That was a legit blessing right there. So, yeah. I was like, whoa, we were about to do this in March. I was planning in my mind to do it in March, and all of a sudden I was like, no, let's do it earlier. And I was so glad I listened to my gut. I was like, oh, boy.
So on the record, you said you've used, there's a lot of sounds that are relevant to the New York Metro system.
Yes.
So how did you get those sounds? Did you record them, field recordings or?
Yep, field recordings.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
It was annoying, but yes.
Yeah. Hey, it's a little copyright control though. That's super dope.
Shh.
No,
Don't mention that word. That is a naughty word, Matt. You should know
that's
this
true.
by
I
now.
should know this. Will you be? Do you have any plans to make Turnstile Breaks Part 2?
I'm planning to hopefully in the future make more records as time goes on, because I really want to like hone into that skill of production and seeing your ideas come to actual physical life, because I feel like the days of streaming are really excellent, yes, but there's also the fact that it's better to hold something that you make, like, oh, I actually physically have it in my hands. Like, that's special. That's kind of rare now. Everything's like, on a phone or whatever streaming platform. But
Yeah.
it's always something special to hold something that you made and be able to share with the world and such.
Yeah, totally. Now, this if we go back to the other side of the physical form, now we go back to the technology side of things. When you were talking about how DJ battles will evolve, and technology and battles. How do you think the newly released stems and Serato feature will be used in DJ routines?
Now this sauce. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
this sauce.
well, I think it's going to take some time for us to discover how we can incorporate it in it, to be honest,
Totally.
I think probably we're going to be using it in production, obviously, and helping our creative side shine even more without spending hours. Shameless plug, guys. Shameless plug. Without hours searching the internet. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how the Serato stems is going to be used in routines. And of course, mixes. We already know how great that's working out with mixing and on other great things in production. But I'm just curious of like how we as artists are going to evolve in using stems in routines. Like, how are we going to make our creativity shine more than ever? That's something I'm still trying to discover. But I know at some point we're all going to discover and be like, oh yeah, we used the stem feature to make that happen. All right, we all know that. Yeah, you did the chase pattern to stems. We got it. All right, whatever. So I'm just waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, I was thinking like as from an outside, someone who doesn't really battle much, if at all, ever. But taking the drums from certain tracks might be a really cool way to isolate parts, or even just create an instrumental or something. And I know that I think Bastard was talking about how you could take vocals and you could even like do different sounds from the and fresh, traditional kind of sounds.
So we don't have to continue scratching fresh.
As great as they are, though.
He's right, though. He's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But technology has been resisted, like we talked about at times in DJing. But DJing itself is a result of technological innovation. When you think about the turntable, even being, it was a home stereo hi-fi piece of equipment, and then it got repurposed. I don't need to tell you this, everyone probably knows this, but I just think it's interesting to think about that in the context of like the cross section of, technology and what DJing is as a a kind of being birthed from technology, essentially, right?
Yes.
Do you think technology is always going to be important in music in general, not just DJing?
Yeah, of course, because if without technology, we will not have the cars that we have now. Think about when Henry Ford made the business line, not the business. Oh my God, the work line of just manufacturing mass products to get things done faster.
Yeah.
And with technology, we just have more freedom to just do things quicker and faster without wasting time and such. But there's nothing wrong. Of course, I feel like a repeating record. Nothing wrong with learning the old-fashioned ways to appreciate what we have now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, I see more DJs, thanks to social media. It's like from 1,000 DJs from like 10 years ago. Now it's like millions of DJs all over social media. And I just wish that they would take the time to understand the history of hip hop, the birthplace of hip hop in the Bronx and all the other elements, to really understand what is it that they're doing exactly,
Well,
so,
that dovetails perfectly into my next question, Pearly, because being from the Bronx, the birthplace of DJing and everything, how did growing up there influence you musically?
It made me more of a badass. Good night, everybody. It's just, I don't even know how to express this feeling because I've met so many people from all over the world visiting New York, and the amount of appreciation that they have for the city, where if it's like, just hip hop fans, they're like so like excited, like kids in the candy store to see like, yeah, I'm in the Bronx and this is where hip hop happened. And I'm like, oh, right, okay, yeah. Because, when you're in the city, you don't really, pay too much mind to it. So it kind of gave me a different perspective of how much of a blessing it is to be from New York, where it has definitely birthed so many genres of music, from doo-wop to hip-hop to boogaloo to salsa, folk music in Washington Square Park, etc. It gives you that different perspective when you see it through someone else's eyes of like, hey, where I'm coming from is something really special to someone else, regardless if you're not really, happy about it. But, to me, I will always be so grateful and be honored to be a New Yorker, to be from the Bronx, to rep the people, my people, our people, everyone in general. And the Bronx has definitely influenced me music-wise because as a kid, I always be walking down the street, probably going to the park, and somebody playing music. And it's not just one genre of music, it's multiple genres of music. It's salsa, it's hip-hop, it's funk. It's you go to another park and someone's having a park jam and it's strictly like classic funk soul breaks and all that stuff. And then you leave the park and someone's blasting Hot 97 hip-hop in their car going by. Or you're walking down the block and you look up because someone's playing some loud salsa because they're cleaning or cooking. I don't know. But yeah, so it's definitely a big thank you to New York of just birthing so many great melting pots of genres of music and just embracing it too. So
yeah,
that's
so cool though. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm not obviously from New York. I'm very far away from New York, and it just always seems like growing up there must be quite magical in that way, where it's it's the language. Hip hop is your reality, right? It's, I guess, and so yeah, you have people like me coming up and going, whoa, like this is crazy, like this is the spot, like just going crazy about like little things like that must be kind of novel.
Yeah, I get excited too because why not share the excitement with that person you're sharing it in the moment? It's really cool. It's like you go to Coney Island for the first time and you're like, oh my god, it's Coney Island, and then the person next to you is like, who cares, it's just Coney Island. But you're just like, no, you don't understand, this is Coney Island. You don't understand, the Warriors, it's like,
yeah, shout out the Warriors.
Share the excitement. It doesn't, no big deal. It's life's too short to be like, yeah, who cares? Just enjoy, embrace it.
Yeah.
Be your tourist. Go to Times Square and take out your phone and do the selfie stick thing and have fun with it.
It's funny because if I have people visiting me where I'm living in Vancouver and they come, the things I want to do is show them all those sorts of things, and it kind of almost makes me appreciate it more. The things that I love about my city, it makes me appreciate it more when I get to see it through the eyes of other people. Do you feel the same for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you may not see the same way as they do it, but when they share that experience with you, it's like, oh, now I understand how they see it, Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. It gives you much more of a better appreciation.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, thanks massively. Shout out to Newtown Bakery. That's one of my favorite spots if you ever come to Vancouver. Definitely not the birthplace for hip hop though. But I mean, obviously growing up in the Bronx, you must have been surrounded by so many hugely influential people. I'm curious to know who were some of the big influences in your decision to become a DJ, either locally or outside, but definitely curious to hear about local people as well.
Yeah, so I wasn't really fortunate to have people show me, the whole DJ life because, since I was a young girl, I looked even way younger with this baby face. So they're like, I'm not going to show this kid anything. So I had to, teach myself everything. So I taught myself. I did. So the people that I looked up to, besides my mom, my abuela, of course, was Gaga, Lily, Mark Ronson, DJ AM, rest in peace. And of course, A-Track, Hubert, Aaron LeCrae, so on and so forth. So those were like my founding DJs of inspiration. And with Mark Ronson, he had a show on East Village Radio every Friday night called Authentic Ish.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Every Friday night, I would listen to that show religiously, regardless if I had like a term paper due, that Monday. I would stop everything and just listen and try to figure out what he was doing, And from there, just by listening, I learned a lot about myself. You know, of course, like we talked about self-doubt. I had a lot of self-doubt because I wasn't sure if I was doing the right things properly. But as I started gaining confidence, knowing that, yeah, I could do it. Yes, I can. And just do positive affirmations, I just got better and better. And then eventually um, just embraced my unique talent of like, yes, nothing is impossible. So those guys, and of ladies, of course, were the biggest role models ever to give me encouragement without even meeting them. You know, gave me that push to keep going.
That's so awesome. Yeah, that
Yeah.
radio show, East Village Radio, Authentic-ish. Yeah,
Yes.
that show is the best. Was the best. Little Dave also in here knows what we're talking about.
Oh, that was my favorite ever. Blue Gems was on it. Aaron LeCrate was on it. Oh, I think Bobito was on East Village Radio. A lot of great classic New Yorkers had their own show, and it was just phenomenal.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things I really loved about Mark Ronson's DJing is that it was really similar to what you were saying about the Bronx, where you have a lot of different music. It was always very open to a lot of different genres. It wasn't just hip hop or house or, you know, indie rock. It was like he kind of brought a lot of different flavors, and I think I always found that really, like, I've found personally as well, very inspiring. And did you ever listen to his BBC Essential mix by any chance?
Which one? I think there was like a couple. Wasn't
Yeah,
there like two?
you're probably right. I'm thinking of one. It was around like 2006. It was around like the Amy Winehouse, Lily Allen era, when he did the
No.
versions.
I
With
haven't listened to that.
Okay, I gotta share that with you. I'll put
Drop
it in
the link in the chat. Drop the link in the chat.
I have to put it in Discord, I think, later. But because that mix was really inspiring for me as well. Like the way he was doing like blends and mashups, and he'd also do crazy like tempo changes and things like this. It was like very innovative for the time. I was
Yes.
highly recommend. I've got to share that with you. It was one of the mixes that changed my life, if you will.
Yes.
Do you have any mixes like that? Do you have any mixtapes that were life changing?
Oh my God. I think what really changed my whole creative spark was definitely seeing AM. Not live, of course. I wish I did. But discovering him through the very little amount of YouTube videos that were there at the time, that blew my mind for sure. Because that, to me, him and Mark and A-Track were the first DJs that I saw use the open format, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote term, of like mixing multiple different types of genres in like a short amount of time, that it was just like so mind blowing at that time, you know? Really game changer.
Yeah.
And actually finding, forgot which video, but there was a video where AM was using Serato for the first time, and that was the first time I discovered Serato.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Yo.
that blew my mind. I was like, wait. What is he doing with that record? He's not changing the record. He's not lifting the needle. What's going on? What is this sorcery? And then finding out through the comments or just Googling DJ software, no needle, whatever I typed, and it was Serato. And I was like, what is this? Scratch Live, and I saw the video, the Serato Scratch Live. I'm like, whoa, I need this in my life.
Yeah.
And that was back in like 2009.
That's incredible. We've really got to. It's really great to hear that story, and we really got to give our credit to DJ AM for really being such a huge ambassador for the product, and really the best person to demonstrate all the things you could do. You know, wow. Yeah,
Yes,
rest in
definitely.
peace. Rest in peace, AM. We're eternally grateful for all the things you did, and it comes up almost every time. All the people, Jeff, A-Track, yourself. It's like kind of this one person that did probably was, one of the most inspirational and influential people for Serato being out there. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, just want to make sure we
Yeah.
honor that legacy.
Yes, absolutely. Because that was like the best happy accident of discovering Serato through AM, because it gave me this feeling of like, oh, I don't have to worry about messing my records up anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to worry about ruining my needles as much and such, you know? And with Serato, I knew for a fact that I could just use my records, like, you know, build my collection, have them there when I need them, and then not worry about going to an event and having them get messed up because someone bumped into the table
Yeah.
and such, you know? And
Even
plus,
just
like, you know,
the Q burn, right? That's
ugh, I have so many records that are like super rare that has terrible amounts of Q burn. happy about that.
I know, right? You spend all this money on them and then they're just like destroyed with Q-burn.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm like, oh, damn. Can't use this now.
Yeah, for real. So tell me about this, the Lady Gaga. I know you're a huge Lady Gaga fan. What was the what was the moment where?
But
it was
if
like,
you don't know,
yeah. What was the moment with Lady Gaga?
well, the crazy and interesting part is that when Gaga was becoming Gaga, back in like 2008 or so, I was starting as a DJ. So we kind of sort of have like a similar timeline of being out in the open of artistry journey, whatever you want to call it. And I always thought that this girl had potential to be bigger than anything. And I was like, oh, she has a lot of potential to be like a mega superstar. And I was like, oh, I'll follow her career. You know, Just Dance came out with Colby O'Donis and Akon. And I was like, cool, this is awesome. Poker Face comes out. I'm like, okay, she really means business. And then when I started going digging, the first record store I went to was, one of the first record stores, I should say, was in Times Square. There used to be the Virgin Megastore.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
R.
I don't know if anybody in the chat, oh, God, don't remind me. I don't know if anybody in the chat remembers the Virgin Megastore chains of records that they had. And the cool part was when I was going to the Virgin Megastore, right across the street was MTV Studios where they filmed TRL.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So I vividly remembered looking up towards my right, and I don't know, I wasn't even planning to look up that way, but it felt like someone turned my attention towards the MTV Studios, and there was banners of Mark Ronson and Daniel Merriweather and all the artists that was featured on his album Version.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's right, I gotta buy that album. Oh, okay. So, you know, I go to Virgin Megastore, and those were the first records I ever bought. Was Mark's Version album, Amy Winehouse, Gaga, and can't remember who else, but those were, and Lily Allen. Oh my God,
that's so sick.
Yeah, those were my first ever records that I bought for my collection, and how I got more into music and understanding what a DJ does, what a producer does, you know, the different genres and styles. So when I bought Gaga's record, Just Dance, the single, there was also The Fame, the album, and Poker Face. And I was like, taking everything. And then my dad was like, I'm not paying for that. And I was like, no, I'm just listening. I'm just going to look at it. Yeah, I'm just going to look at it. No, I'm just going to look at it. And then, you know, from there, I just became a bigger fan. And then there was a point in my life where I was just so uninspired to continue DJing because nobody believed in me. No one knew that DJing could be a career, or it could be something, you know, positive as a creative, therapeutic thing for some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was just like so uninspired, so down. I was getting depressed because no one believed in a woman doing something great with music. And then my dad one day surprised me with Gaga tickets to her Madison Square Garden show for the, I feel like a bad fan for forgetting the name, for the Fame Monster Ball Tour at Madison Square Garden. So the stage was this way, right? Pointing that way. I was pointing this way. So I couldn't really see what was going on because it was like, you know, one of those tickets, the last remaining tickets, because that was a hot show when it came for ticket sales. Once those tickets were on sale, it was like, good luck. That should have been a disclaimer. Good luck. So she was talking about, well, the whole show was just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And there was a point in the show where she was covered in fake blood and there was fog everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, she's bleeding. What's going on? And I realized, you idiot, it's fake blood. I'm like, oh yeah, duh. And she was just lying on the floor and she was just like being really dramatic and super awesome. And she was expressing her stories of how she was one of us being a fan on, it was either Britney or Madonna. I don't think it was Madonna. I think it was Britney. That she went to a Britney concert or something in that realm. And she was sitting all the way in the top, looking down, hoping that she'd be there on stage as a headliner. And she goes, but if you work hard and believe in yourself and never give up, you can be just like me on this stage. And then she just gets up and starts screaming. I'm like, whoa, okay.
That's awesome.
All right. So she just gave like the most beautiful speech. I'm just condensing it in a short amount of time. But she just gave this long, beautiful speech about never giving up on yourself, never giving up on your dreams, your goals, or whatever. And if anyone puts you down, don't listen to them. And she goes, if no one believes in you, I believe in you. And I was like, I'm gonna cry. This is everything I wanted, you know. So it was just, you know, the speech that I needed to hear, and it pulled a lot of heartstrings. And ever since then, she really lives up to her words, for real.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
And that's like, I think we all need people like that, role models, to really help us kind of pursue our dreams, right? And follow
absolutely,
through.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you hope to aspire to be like that for somebody?
I don't know. I think people just see me too much of a goofball to say that. I don't know. They're like, she mean likes too much, and I can't take her serious. I'm like, well, you know, you're right. Me neither.
I don't know, man. I mean, those routines are very inspiring. I think you know,
Oh, thanks, man.
that's what's so great about is, yeah, your composure, your dedication, and your, like, you know, your commitment to them. It really shines through, and I'm sure that's for, you know, anyone who's a fan of DJing, that's going to be inspiring and motivating. But yeah, do you plan on doing any teaching or any kind of mentorship for anybody, or do you have anyone currently that you're mentoring?
Myself.
Focus, yeah. I mean, yeah.
No, not really at the moment. No, it's just me. I'm just focused on doing the best that I can at this moment with the DJ world and such. Maybe in the future when I'm old and gray and my teeth fall out. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know because the thing is about mentorship. Some people will love it, and then some people will not understand it. You know what I
Yeah, it's
mean?
true. Yeah.
Like some people, I've done workshops, and which I don't mind doing workshops. I don't mind being a showcase presenter. I don't mind that. I don't mind going to colleges and being a guest speaker. I don't mind it. I love it. You know, because it's a group of people who never seen it. They may not get into it, but they get, oh, cool, you could do this with DJing. But I've learned that there are people who just want to do it because of the fame,
Yeah.
quote unquote, you know, like the whole social media number,
Right.
game. And it's like, no, you have to understand that this is for love of music. It's never for the attention. It's never for, quick free things from companies and such. Because at one point you're going to develop an unhealthy ego, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be pretty. So, I mean, I'm very picky if I'm ever going to do a mentor thing because I really want to share the knowledge that I have with people who actually appreciate and not just sit and just like not care, because that to me is a waste of time. It's like you and I and everybody who got into DJing, who appreciate the culture, the history, the skills, and all the pioneers that came before us, really love it, and they want to pass that love down and not just sit in a room and then just people are just like, it's like, I have great fountain of knowledge and you're just so yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I guess, yeah, I agree. It really does take a lot of commitment, and often it's kind of like riding the roller coaster, or the ebbs and flows of the music and how it goes
Yes.
in your life, right? And I mean, you talked about it earlier. It's kind of like you got to sacrifice certain things for it, and those often, can be kind of sleep or money or things that you
Yeah,
need.
it's money's cool, to pay your bills and such, but there will be a time when people get too, I don't want to say suffocated, but too caught up in the idea of money, money, money.
Mm.
And then eventually you're going to get caught like, oh, you're just doing it for the money. You're not doing it for the passion of music,
And I
you
guess
know?
the things that are so much more rewarding is like for example, you were at the playlist retreat, which is Jazzy Jeff's retreat at his house, and
Damn
that's
it, cut corners. You were like a magician. What
hey,
is
there we
going
go.
on with
Look
you?
at that. Yeah, but
You know what? I gotta take a minute and go back on the stream and find that cheat sheet you surprisingly, accidentally posted. I'm like, what the hell is he Really?
but like that kind of I guess the acknowledgement of your peers that you are a great, and you're included in something like that. I feel like that's probably. Would you agree that that's something worth more than money? In a lot of ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, because going to retreats like that is such a rare opportunity that not many people can understand how valuable it is to be surrounded by people who not only have the same love for what you do, but have knowledge to share and to help others grow and also shine in their light. To see that they have the potential to keep shining, to keep going, to keep doing great things in whatever it is that they're doing, And to be at that playlist retreat, it was, oh my God. you know, I felt like I didn't belong there because I was surrounded by so many great people. You know, it blew my mind. Like I was in the same environment as Jeff, Jazzy Jeff, and his family, which I'm forever grateful for having this retreat and welcoming not only myself but everybody. You know, in that week, in that moment of time, because I've met people who were strangers who now all of a sudden are like my friends, who are my music family. You know, I grew up as an only child. I never knew what it meant to have a brother or sister, but going to the retreat, everybody was family. And I'm like, oh my God, these are my music brothers and sisters, you know? And just to be in the same presence as De La Soul, the Beat Junkies, A-Track, Craze, Natasha Dix Caper, so on and so forth, just blew my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I'm here with my music heroes, the people I've listened to growing up, and here they are in front of me. And I was like, this is my opportunity to ask questions. And I just go like, it's nice seeing you. You know, you go blank because you can't believe it. And then Biz Markie, may he rest in peace, he told like the most beautiful stories about almost everybody at the playlist retreat that blew my mind and blew everyone's mind. Like I remember he would talk about stories about 8-track, and he called them, he's now developed into 16-track. And I was there and I was like, I can't believe I'm witnessing this right now. And it was just great. And he was talking to other DJs and artists. He's like, yeah, don't you remember that day you were wearing a yellow shirt? And I was like, how does he remember all of this? And everyone's like, yo, I can't believe you remember that. And that was just like a beautiful experience to be with in that moment, because I, you know, of course I wasn't there, but just to hear those stories made me feel included and just, you know, savor that moment completely. So the playlist retreat, I'm forever indebted in gratitude and thankfulness to be a part of it. And big ups to Jazzy Jeff and his family for doing such a great thing. So thank you, Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's crazy how beautiful that was. That moment. You know, hopefully we're not sharing too much, but yeah, the fact that Biz was able to share those stories with us, you know, at that time, you know, and then to know how special it is now that he's not with us, and what a privilege it was to have that time, you know, is pretty
Yes.
incredible. And you know, for those who are listening, you know, he was really sharing about stories about how he was involved in some of our favorite songs, some of the songs that you may not be aware that he was part of. You know, songs like Bonita
Yes.
Applebaum, and I mean, he was telling stories like sitting holding court. It was really special. It was
Yes.
yeah, what a privilege. And you know, honestly, I think that kind of like, I guess, ties into that question about mentorship, because I feel like someone like Jeff and what they do with the playlist retreat is such a giving thing back to the culture, you know, where he's including everybody like yourself, you know, like all the people he loves and looks up to and inspires, and he gets inspiration from, and then he's sharing all this knowledge. It's a kind of this knowledge exchange and mentorship for the younger people, and also like a refresher for the older people, like this is what's cool now. And it's like this massive like knowledge exchange that is it's really magical. I don't really know how to describe it any other way, but
Yes. It is magical.
it's so important, right? And to think that at his age and all the things he's already achieved, and now he's doing this and giving back to the community that he's part of, is I mean, I aspire. I'd love to. I think that's just the best thing you can do with where he is in his career. I'm yeah. I'm just taking a moment, I guess, to
Yes. Anyone has a moment to share their favorite Jazzy Jeff memory, drop it in the chat.
yeah yeah. And I think
Besides getting thrown out from by Uncle Phil.
yeah. But I think that's one of the things like you were talking about earlier as well, about DJing and careers, and I think that's something that we don't really talk a lot about amongst ourselves, and you know what a DJ career means. And I think it's really great to have somebody like Jazzy Jeff provide almost like a framework or mentorship on what that can be, because there's really
Yes.
nobody else, right? Like I can't think of anyone.
Yeah. No, there could be all the videos uploaded on YouTube, but it won't be the exact same experience in person. You know?
Yeah.
Like you could watch hours and hours of YouTube videos of how to do something, but you can never, you know, the point is that it's better to learn in person, because you can ask the questions that come up on the fly,
Yeah.
and then you can just have a better understanding of whatever it is that you want to learn, you
Yeah.
know? And it's way better than just sitting. Of course, you know, YouTube's cool, but it's always greater to be in person with someone to ask those questions that just pop up on the fly. to get better feedback. If you're learning how to play guitar, and my hands, are they on the right fretboard, you know, and all that stuff. It's better to get that kind of one-on-one insight than, you know, virtually. No disrespect to virtual. I don't want to get canceled that way.
No, I think you're fine. I think you're fine.
Don't hate me.
But just speaking of that, I mean, when you were teaching yourself all these DJ routines, like, was there anybody that was able to kind of give you that kind of hands-on and in-person experience? Or yeah?
Yeah, I taught myself for about like 5 or 6 years. So that was really difficult, but I was fortunate to find out that there was Scratch Academy in New York City, Scratch DJ Academy. And I was like, yes, let me go, because I need to get better. I want to understand what I'm doing. I want to know my mistakes. I want to know how I can improve my mistakes and just get better in general. And I went there, and it was the best experience I've ever had in my life, besides Playlist Retreat. Just saying. But going to a Scratch Academy really helped me understand the love and passion that I had was real. And all the people that were just saying, like, no, you can't do this, you know, putting me down and everything, was actually people not understanding the potential I had. Or they were just afraid of themselves of knowing that I could probably, you know, do better than what is traditionally expected as a career. So the mentors I had was Dirty Digits and DJ Esquire. And learning from them was beautiful, absolutely amazing. And then I went to Dub Spot that used to be in Manhattan. And I went for a workshop. And that was cool within itself. I mean, the whole environment going from Scratch Academy and Dub Spot really made me feel like I was on the right path. You know, so surrounded by great people who were very encouraging, who were the complete opposite of what I was hearing in school. The complete opposite. They're like, yeah, you could do this. Yeah, this is possible. Oh, you want to try production? Oh, here's a workshop. Check that out. Oh, you want to check out some other DJ stuff? Here's a workshop with Shifty and some other guys. You pick and decide. I'm like, what? You mean I could actually learn from these people? And it was just so beautiful. And I really enjoyed every second of that, because I knew at some point I was never going to get an opportunity like that again, because, you know, everything was just like unsure and uncertain if I was going to really do well. And I'm glad I listened to my gut and continued, because those people really gave me that support I needed.
Yeah. And shout out OP, actually. Big shout out to OP at Dubspot.
That's where I met him.
Same.
That's crazy, because, like, here's the crazy story. I don't know if OP's watching, maybe not. But let me just check the chat. Yeah, he's not watching. Okay. But I stumbled upon a video that he was talking about MIDI mapping your mixer. And I was like, what's MIDI mapping? Like, what is that? And he was showing, like, the basic run through of how to MIDI map a mixer. And then I go to Dubspot to sign up for a workshop for production. And there he is. I was like, I saw you on YouTube. Because at that time, I thought anybody on YouTube was, like, you know, celebrity. I was like, I saw you on YouTube.
The power of YouTube.
He's like, hey, what's up? I'm like...
That's so cool. Yeah, OP's such a nice guy, too. Like, so giving of, just knowledge. And he's had such a storied career. We got to get him on here, actually. We got to do an OP special just on Unscripted of, like, his career, because it's crazy.
Well, guess what, Matt? We actually have him on the other line. Bring him in.
That's
Take
crazy.
it away.
But yeah, so, well, speaking of that, I do have a question for you that we ask everybody that comes on the show. And
I might have an answer.
You do? You may have an answer? I hope so.
I don't know.
It's what the show's about. And the question is, what does the power of music mean to you?
You know what? I feel like the power of music can be answered in so many beautiful ways. But I feel like the power of music is, to me, about expression, connection, and love. You know? So I know this might sound kind of weird, but music is medicine. It is healing. It is so powerful. And I remember reading or seeing a interview with Qbert talking about how DJs are almost like shamans in a way. How we are like the medicine people providing the medicine to the people, which is music. And I feel like music is a beautiful connection between the DJ or the producer, whoever is on stage, and the audience, because we are actually talking, right? We're talking not verbally, but we're connecting spiritually with the vibrations of music, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what the power of music is communication with whoever it is that you're with at the moment. It's a beautiful experience, really, you know. And the power of music can be so powerful that it could really change the world. Definitely. Without even knowing that a song could really change how entire outlook on the world can really bring a powerful statement to an issue that's happening either now, tomorrow, or in the future and such. So, yeah.
Amen to that. Absolutely. Yeah,
Amen, brother.
it's changed a lot for me, and hopefully the world, as a matter of fact, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, like it definitely, I could truly say, not in a cliche, that music has changed my life. Really, because if I would have listened to all the naysayers of like giving up and going to the traditional route of being miserable in a career, I'm not dissing anybody who has a non-traditional music career. I'm just not doing that. I'm just saying that to all the people that have like doubted me and told me no, no, no. Well, look at me now. You know, I continue to listen to my God. I'm thankful for the people who have supported me from back then to now, and even down the line in my future career and my journey and such. I'm always thankful for people for showing me gratitude. Well, not gratitude, but showing me that their likes, their love, their appreciation. And to me, that's like the best form of payment. You know,
Yeah.
money's cool, but to hear people how they like what I do is a beautiful thing. And I'm so forever grateful for anybody who shares, likes, or just interacts with my stuff. I'm just forever grateful and such. So yeah.
Well, we're forever grateful for your incredible output. We love your routines, and we're so grateful to have you on the show today. Thank you, Pearly.
Yeah. Thank you, Serato. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody in the chat.
But I do want to ask. We've got a bunch of cool people in the chat, but I want to know: is there anyone that you would like to give a shout out to?
I'd like to shout out the bodega cat down the street. No. He's always guarding the Diet Pepsi. He's doing a great job. I think his name is Papo or Papito. I don't know. They call him different things. They call him, but you know, I call him. Oh man, I just want to give a shout to everybody, you know, tuning in today. Even if they're going to be watching this later, thank you for definitely checking us out, checking me out, of course. Not like that. Not like that. Just check. I'm just going to stop. Thanks to everybody. You know, I really appreciate you all. And I want to also give a shout to Gaga. You know where to find me.
Yeah,
Bobby,
we got to get you
manager,
on the.
Hello.
We got to get we got to get Pearly on the DJ Lady Gaga DJ opening set for sure. DJ.
You have no idea. Jeez. Oh my God. Between you and me and the lamppost, Matt, and everybody in the chat, if I meet her, I will pass out. I'm not kidding. Not kidding. Like I just saw a recent post of Dom Perignon party that happened. I think it was this week or whatever, and I saw her DJing, and I was like, "It wasn't that me."
Hang on, Dom Perignon was DJing her party?
No, it was like a Dom Perignon. I don't know. I wasn't there, so it was like some sort of Dom Perignon party celebrating something, and it was her event or something like that. And I saw her with the DJ. I was like, "Damn it! Why couldn't that be me?"
Oh shoot! Yeah, I was gonna say if she DJs, I'd be down to check a Lady Gaga DJ set out.
I will definitely give up my most expensive record, my most valuable record, to buy a ticket to see that and try to get a backstage pass. I have to bring somebody with me because I don't want to pass out and go viral because I passed out.
Well, we got to put it out there. we got to put it out there though, so we can make it happen. But before we go, we do have one question from the audience. All
right.
From Sir Grandmaster, and he had a question.
Yes.
Any advice for an extremely talented songwriter that can write fantastic, genuine songs daily, but is still trying to figure out a brand to go with the vision? Okay, that's one question. And then it's also the second question: how do I best reach out to DJs in hopes of them playing my music?
Okay, so the first question, the first part, can you just like sum that up for a bit? Because there's a lot of great things to talk about. So for the first part is definitely continue to be yourself in what it is that you're doing. And of course, there's going to be moments where you want to follow a trend, which is fine. But also don't forget about you. Don't forget who you are as an artist, that you get so caught up in the trending and all that stuff that you forget your true flavor and passion, what it is that you're doing. So always stay true to yourself. And yeah, check out the trends, see what they're doing, but also take bits and pieces of inspiration from that and include it into your own style, right? So I don't know if that's a good answer to that, but the second part of how to send out your music to artists, and other DJs and so on and so forth. I would say, I mean, I'm not a big fan of TikTok, but TikTok, you know, put yourself out there. Basically, make a video, make a content video of you making the track, or just, you know, something that shows this is your song, this is who you are as an artist, that shows your passion, that you love what you do, basically, you know. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. My suggestion to that though would be like, get in touch with the heavy hitters. DJ Pearly, one of the heavy hitters, hit up Enough and send them your demo. And then if you can get on the heavy hitters email list, you'll be golden.
You can do that too. Yeah. Hit up Enough. He has more power than I do. So
right. Shout out heavy hitters.
Salute. Yeah, but definitely, I think just continue to be yourself. Continue making the things that you like, and don't be afraid to evolve in creativity. You know, if you feel that you're stuck being stagnant in one style, don't be afraid to journey out into another style. And such, you know, don't be afraid to listen to your favorite artists and do some research and see what artist has inspired them, and gain some inspiration from there too. You know, it's all about learning and discovering. It's not always about, you know, the fame and exposure. Those are cool when it comes that way to your journey, but it's all about it's always about the journey, not the destination. So, the more you know.
I love that. Well, thanks again, DJ Pearly. And thanks to everyone who tuned in. We had some great people: Master Lee, DJ Gons, Dada Manzen, the Psychology Department, Stevie Pre, DJ Tony G, and DJ Icy Ice. Lil Dave. Who else we got here? DJ Quartz, Yo Cardis, DJ Marvel, the man DJ Destruct was watching. The Kid.
What's up, Destruct?
DJ Gooey, that's a cool name. Oh, sorry, DJ Agui. I think hopefully I'm saying that right now. A New Beat Band. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Great to see you all. Thank you again so much, Pearly. We'll go.
Yes,
I think we're gonna go raid somebody. I think we're gonna go raid Dawn Perignon if she's on. But yeah, again,
Send
have a
me
great
bottle.
yeah, have a great day, everybody, and have a great day, Pearly. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody. I just want to say thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, spending some time with us. Truly appreciate it. And please have a great time creating. Never stop being yourself. And everyone got the plug to Gaga. You know where to find me. I'm serious.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm serious. I can do the rah-rah. I'm just waiting for the other part.
Okay. Let's make it happen. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yes. Serato has connections. Don't be afraid to hook me up.
We'll do it. We'll do what we can. We'll do what we can.
I'm just messing it. Not really, but I love you guys.
Awesome. Thank you again so much.
Everyone.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.